Well, transmission's out. This is an HT3813. It's pretty tight. You've got to remove the gas tank. You've got to move the rear casing. One of the bolts were basically jammed in there, and I had to bend up the back just to get in there. But you need to move that casing in the back or it's not going to come off. Then you have to take this bolt off to get it off. And I'll show you the other transmission. And I got to transfer everything to this. Right? So there's what's inside of it. I got to transfer everything over to here, right? So what I'm going to do, another thing, these are the two bolts that held the front part of the tranny in. There's 3 bolts on the back of here. It goes into this face, right? That's how you get to this. Don't panic because this is a boot that's just there, right? Once you take this off, there's your bolt. Okay, so this is just a cover. There's your bolt. You get that off by just putting a wrench on here and jamming it like a vice grip. And when this stops turning, you can turn the nut. Other hints can I give you? Just disconnect everything. Take some pictures beforehand. You're going to have to take off your fuel pump, right? Stuff like that. And when you're taking out, dropping this for the final time, just be careful, okay? When you're taking it out there. What else is there? Well, you can see from the back here what I had to do. Let me see. The fuel pump was on here. Right, it's up on this part. Now it's just sort of hanging there. That's all right. I used the jack here, the hydraulic jack, to jack up the bottom when I was taking it out. Biggest thing here is you've got to jack up this end of it from the inside. Jack it up and then take it out, or else it's just going to jam and it's not going to come out. Okay, so the transmission's out. And now I'm going to start putting everything from this one onto the other one up there on the table. Right there. And I don't know if I'll get to it today, but I may start putting it back in, but I'm sure not going to finish putting all the pulleys back where they go. Again, take pictures of everything before you start, where they are, and you won't have a problem when you're going to put it back together. Okay? This was a real pain in the butt. Realize that before you start. The biggest hint I can give you is jack up that end. Okay, I'll show you from up here. Let me just see. Ooh, get up. Here we go. This piece here is right up to here, right? This bolts, this piece here, right here, bolts onto here. Okay, so that was right to here, but this pieces here were jammed. You understand what I mean? They were jammed, and I couldn't get the damn things for the life of me back in because it was grabbing here. You see that little scrape? It was grabbing right here on the back plate of this thing. Right here. Okay? And once you jack that up, you jack the motor up and you push this back, get all your pulleys and everything out of the way, it just falls out. There it is down there. It's taken a little bit and I had to go slow, but this is going to help you, trust me, not to go through what I went through. Anyways, I'll be back with more. Okay, JDS Spline Canuck here. What we got here is the old transmission. As you can see, I took everything off it, like I said, in the front. Right, and I put it on the other one. This one looks a lot better cosmetically, but it's fried. And there's where it leaked, that I didn't see it. It's a very small leak, and it wasn't dripping or anything. And as you can see, this whole thing moves. Look at that. See how that moves? So that bushing in there was gone totally. It was leaking slowly. And when it broke down, it was no fault of mine. Anyways, I was blaming myself, but I check fluid levels all the time and everything, but I will be now, even with this one. Starting of every year, with these old motors you have to. If that oil didn't go low, it would have just leaked and kept going, but that would have broke sooner or later. This side, it would have broke sooner or later, so it's good we're getting done when we had to get done. Anyways, I got everything off that one. The tools you'll need. The tools you need are many, very many. Yes and no, but there's a lot of little things I'll show you now. As you can see up here, right here, I'll try and make sure you can see it. Okay, that piece is the part that goes on the tranny. See it moving around? That goes on with 3 bolts. And there's a bolt in this end. When you get it out, that's how I was able to change all this. Okay, so that's a big hint. In the frame here, right here, you're going to need a pry bar just to get it back in. What happens is you get the axle back up in here, and believe me, those bolts weren't on then. It was a real pain in the butt. But all you have to do is jack it up like I'm doing here, slowly. Like when I say slowly, I mean slowly, okay? And then get a pry bar and put it right in behind this plate. This is solid, and keep on pulling it, and then it'll drop in. Okay, it'll drop right in. Right now I'm going to put these bolts on, and I'm going to put the, where is it? Had it here a minute ago. There it is. I'm going to put the switch back on. This is the switch for the seat. Okay, and that screws right in here, right into that part. I'm going to do all that, and I'm going to start reconnecting things and stuff like that. So that'll be the next part of the video. I'll show you what I did. Okay, and look at the motors on these things, eh? Timing belt, right? Look at the carb. Look at the rad. It's like a car. This thing is like a car. That's why I'm taking so much time to fix this, because it's worth it. This thing is worth it, man. It's amazing. Okay, I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, we're back. Let me see, where do I start? The last thing you should do right here is check your oil again. I've put 2 quarts in, right? I'm going to have to take this off. And when the wheels are on the ground, the oil should just come out of here when it's come out of the end of the filler cap, okay? When it's level, when it's on the ground. So that's what you have to do. You got to make sure you do that. Check all this to make sure none of the wires are in. I've had to screw that back on. Gas tank goes back on here with these 2 screws. One there. Okay, and one there. What else? So when you're starting this up and you want to, not have to put the seat back on, just put a jumper on here on this cable. You can see where it's running there. That's under the seat when you sit on it. It's a safety. We put all the cables back on, as you can see here. And this one here, the plunger, that basically guides this too. What else have we done? We put the 4 bolts on here, as you can see. There's the bolts. 3 bolts, sorry, 3 bolts. The actual gear changer, which is right here. Let me see if you can see that. Oh no, right here. Okay, that's the gear changer. You have to bolt that back on. It's a rod that goes through here. And on the bottom there, way in the bottom down here, you can see my finger with spring on it. That's emergency brake type thing for here. Okay, and I've got to mount that back on the cover. So we're going to start this puppy up, okay, and we're going to see how she's if it's going to run through the gears and all that sort of stuff. So here we go. looks like we got success. I've got to adjust a few things here, but other than that, she's running. She's running beautifully. So, bad transmission, good transmission. I got this one on Kijiji for cheap. You can't buy them anymore, so if you have one of these tractors, which is the HT3813, you've got to look on YouTube and get a hold of your stuff you need. Okay, anyways, that was the transmission for the HT3813. That was the disassembly and these adjustments, and basically a transmission taken out and a new one put in, and everything that was on there put back, which is quite the pain in the ass. Anyways, it wasn't, it was fun. Took me, what was it, 3 hours the night before, and today started at 12, about another 3 hours. So give yourself about 6 hours or 8 hours to do it. You get little problems along the way, like I told you, and you'll be able to do it. Anyways, we did it. Adjustments, and we're done. Talk to you later, boys and girls. This is with it in second gear. Open, close. Neutral is open like that. And you can see it right here. And neutral. Into that gear it closes. Second gear, you'll see the red line here. See the red mark? Yeah, so adjust it to that red mark right there when it's in second gear, and you'll be all set. This rod. This is the proper adjustment. Put this in neutral right here, and you can see this nut, it's touching this rod. Okay? It's touching this rod. So you want to have it in neutral, and you want to put it to this adjustment. There we go. It's all back together. HT3813 Honda. 2-cylinder liquid cooled engine. All back together again. Running great. Job well done. This is a 1988 lawn tractor, man. And this thing is like built like a car, like I showed you. Timing belt, rad, fan. It's crazy. That's why I went through all the trouble of changing the transmission. Now she's good as new. So that's how to take a tranny out of one of these and how to put it back in. There you go. I didn't see anybody else on the net that actually did this. So